Hello everyone, I'm back again. Can you believe it's been a week or just over a week since the final? I can't believe how quickly it's all gone by. And to be honest, I'm still tired. Like I've still been catching up on sleep from that week in Liverpool. So yeah, I'm still recovering from it, but it was amazing. But thank you for watching all the videos that I've done so far. I uploaded a vlog, some footage from my time in Liverpool, but I've actually got one more video I'd like to do about my experience, just talking about my experience at Eurovision in general, talking a little bit more about it, and then that will be my last Liverpool themed video. So I'd like to talk about a few highlights, some personal highlights of the week. I was there for a week, but it went by very quickly. It didn't feel like a week. I felt it just pass by very quickly. So yeah, just talking about a few highlights of my experience in Liverpool. And I want to start just to talk in general about Liverpool as a city itself, as a host city, and the atmosphere that was there. Because if you think all the way back in, I think it was like September, October, when the host city was revealed, and it was between Glasgow and Liverpool, and before that there was a short list of other cities in the UK. I don't think Liverpool was really mentioned that much by people. It wasn't really sort of on people's radar. And then it really emerged as a favourite, and then it was chosen as the host. And I can completely see why now that I've never been to Liverpool. Well, I did know a lot about it. I've always wanted to go. I've heard a lot of very good things about it. I didn't know how big it was. I was thinking, oh, it will probably be Glasgow, because I didn't know Liverpool was big enough, like physically, to fit all these people. But I can tell you now that it is. But not only that, I really like the fact that it wasn't too big of a city. It's small enough to be walkable. Everything's very accessible, but it's not too big. So I really like that. And I like the fact as well, the arena is very close by, and it's walkable to pretty much wherever you are. It's right in the middle of the city. And if you think of other host countries, host cities, I don't know if you usually get that luxury of the arena being right there in the middle of the city. I think usually it's sort of, these arenas are sort of more far out, and you need to actually travel more to get there. Thinking about Sweden next year, if it's in Stockholm, which it probably will be, I think their arenas are not actually in Stockholm, the city. They're like, it looks like they're like a 10-minute, 20-minute drive away. Not sure what Turin was like, if that was maybe a bit smaller. Rotterdam, I imagine, was probably similar to Liverpool, maybe a little bit smaller as well. But I think usually these big arenas are quite far out from the actual city. But the good thing about Liverpool is that it was, quite close by. So I don't know if you normally get that lucky with that, but I liked the fact that you had that luxury. And maybe that was one of the reasons why it was chosen, because it's not too much of a big city, it's quite compact, but it's a very interesting city, full of history, the musical history, the Beatles. There's a lot to do in terms of tourism, lots of museums. I went to quite a lot of the museums. A lot of them are free as well. Really good, loved that. And just a really nice atmosphere. Like the sun was shining, luckily. So many people, not just Eurovision fans, but like locals in general. I think it was very busy. And at one point, actually, I think it was on the day of the final, the Saturday, so it was a busy day in general. I remember just walking through the city and I could hear a man behind me, probably a local to Liverpool, and he was saying, wow, I've never seen Liverpool so busy, like ever, even when there's big events like football events. He was saying, I've never seen Liverpool like this with so many people. So yeah, it was a really vibrant, buzzing atmosphere. It was just alive for the whole week. It was very surreal to have Eurovision in this country, and it still does feel surreal that it actually happened. Because we're so used to having it in another country, not in the UK. So for it to finally be in my country, it's just a few hours away from me. I've never been to Liverpool, but everything was just so familiar. But yet there's this huge event taking place, and there's thousands of people around you from other countries, all in this one city, celebrating the same thing. And yeah, I just never get over how like weird it felt that it's actually here in Liverpool, and to see all the branding, like the posters, all the bus stops were all with the Eurovision logo, it was just everywhere. And they really embraced it. Like everywhere you went, even in the shopping centre, like the main shopping centre, they were playing Eurovision music like every day. I would walk into a shop, like a bookshop, Waterstones, or any shop, and they were playing Eurovision music. I remember being in Waterstones one day and they were playing Ein bisschen Frieden, and in CMA, just like this playlist of Eurovision songs. It was just really cool to hear. I was in the Albert Dock one day, walked into this little gift shop, really nice gift shop, and they were playing Blanca Paloma. So everywhere you went, there was just Eurovision music just blasting through the speakers. It was just so normal. And there were, posters everywhere, people walking around wearing the t-shirts, the merch. Yeah, it was just so buzzing with activity. And to have all these Eurovision legends over the years, like Conchita Wurst, Jamala, they were all there in this whole week together. And yeah, it's just really surreal. Another thing that was a really weird feeling was sometimes you would see the artists taking part this year just randomly out and about in the city. So I remember one day, I can't remember what day it was, maybe like Wednesday, Thursday, I was in McDonald's, as I usually was quite a lot that week, and I just looked over, and then walking down the stairs was the lead singer of Lord of the Lost from Germany. He was just walking down the steps in McDonald's. I was like, oh my God. And then another day, I saw a brunette with her delegation just stood there in the shopping centre, just stood round. And yeah, I didn't see that many others, but I know people that did. I know someone who was watching semi-final 2, I think it was, in like a restaurant somewhere, like a really quiet place. And Tural and Turan from Azerbaijan were just sat behind them, just like watching the semi-final casually. And yeah, it's just weird how you're all in this one place with all these familiar people around you that you watch on YouTube or the contestants themselves. Yeah, it's really strange. In the hotel I was staying in the Albert Dock for most of the week, which was literally right by the arena, that was really cool. I saw quite a lot of people from delegations, lots of people walking around with the yellow lanyards. I could hear a lot of, I think it was Dutch people in my hotel. I think they must have been on the Dutch delegation in some way. We spoke to some cameramen outside the hotel one night from Ukraine, and they were like, oh, what's your favourite? I said Finland. They were like, oh yeah, we love Finland. Yeah, just talking to some cameramen from the arena. Yeah, lots of people walking around with the lanyards, people from delegations, from the crew, lots of media and news reporters stood around everywhere. We saw a Polish news reporter one day on the Albert Dock. Yeah, there was a lot going on. Also, there was the Carrier Sauna truck that was there on the Albert Dock for the whole time. I never actually went in there, but some people did. But I did walk past the truck quite a lot, took some pictures, and that was really cool as well. And actually, you might have seen the TikTok videos, you probably have. So on the night of the final, after Sweden won, a lot of people went down to Karia's sauna truck on the Albert Dock to celebrate and to sing Cha Cha Cha. I've seen a lot of videos of people playing Cha 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 on the sauna truck right after the final. So that was really cool. I wish I went to that actually, but I wasn't on the Albert Dock at that point. But yeah, that was really cool to see. So a big highlight for me, of course, no surprise, is actually being able to attend some of the shows. Being in the arena itself for the first time ever, which was like a bucket list achievement for me. I went to 2 shows, the Monday night semi-final jury show, although they call them evening previews now because there are no juries, and Wednesday night semi-final 2 jury show. And the great thing about the jury shows, I know that they're not live on TV, but you get to see everyone, because you see the big 5 as well. The big 5 perform across the both jury shows, so you see every single act live. And even though it's not live, it is a full run through of the show. Not even like a rehearsal, like they're in, their full costume. I know that there's no juries voting, but it is like a full run through, the interval acts, everything, but it's just not live. It's just the night before the actual semi-final. So yeah, it is worth going to jury shows because you see everything that you see on TV. So it's great. So yeah, of course, that was a huge wow moment, walking into the arena, sitting down, and it looks so good. I would say it looks bigger on TV. When you're actually in there, it feels smaller, and then on TV it looks bigger, which is no surprise, I guess. But yeah, it's amazing, and something that'll always stick with me is when we sat down. This was the first show, the Monday night jury show, and they play all the postcards you see on TV, all the VTs, they play that on the screen for you to see of what you'd see on TV. And they played the opening semi-final 1 VT, where the boy in Liverpool is running around and saying, "Oh, it's here, it's in Liverpool." And that was really emotional. Like, I was crying, like silently crying. My friend next to me was crying, the girl on the other side of me was crying. We were all just like sniffing and like silently crying in a good way. I think it was, the emotion was sort of coming out. I think it was the realization of this is actually happening, and the whole collaboration with Ukraine, it was really special this year, being there, and the situation of why it's here. And I think they did a really good job of that in general. The interval acts in the final, around the city there was a lot of Ukrainian imagery. They celebrated Ukraine in the city itself and on TV in the actual shows, I think. So yeah, seeing that BT was really emotional, because you think you're here, it's happening, something you've always wanted to do, and they've done such a great job of it. So yeah, that was a huge highlight for me, which is being in the arena and watching the shows. And I know I've put quite a few videos on my channel of performances that I filmed in the arena for both semi-finals. My favourite, of course, Cha Cha Cha. Like, that is the highlight of the whole year. Seeing that live in the arena and just hearing the crowd roar Cha Cha Cha, like, that is just like an unforgettable experience, to experience that live. It just gives you goosebumps every time you hear it. It's also really interesting when you're actually watching it in the arena to see just how quickly everything gets taken off and on the stage. The postcards, I think, are like 40 seconds, and you can see what's happening on the stage that you don't see on TV. All of these crew members, quickly jumping on and moving everything off and then moving the next prop on. You see Loreen getting wheeled in on her box and she's just lying there in the sand. And yeah, it makes you really appreciate the work that goes on, all the cameramen, the crew, how quickly they do things, how hard they work in such a small amount of time. So that's cool to see just how quickly it all happens on the stage in between each song. So yeah, it makes you give a lot of credit to the people who work behind the scenes and on the stage. Yeah, definitely. So that's a really interesting perspective that you don't see on TV. Something else I'd like to mention is wee wee blogs. So I'm sure a lot of you watch or follow wee wee blogs. I'm a big fan. I've always liked them. I think they do a lot for the community. Like, imagine Eurovision without content from wee wee blogs. They do so much. So yeah, I've always supported them. And what they did in Liverpool was they had their headquarters, if you can call it that, in Lush, the shop Lush. And Liverpool actually has the biggest Lush store in the world. Apparently there's 3 floors, 3 floors of bath bombs. It's really nice. And they were set up themselves in there. But they also did meet and greets every single day with artists from this year, but also previous years as well. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but I really liked this system of meet and greets in Lush every day. It was really cool. I went to 2 of them. There were loads of them. I couldn't go to all of them. But I went to the Emily de Forest and Rasmussen meet and greet. And Daði Freyr from Iceland, he was there on Saturday. I met him as well. So they did these little performances, Q&As, and then photo opportunities at the end. So yeah, that was really nice, a really nice idea. I don't know if that happens every year. I've never heard of that before, but it would be nice for them to carry on doing that in Sweden, maybe. So yeah, that was really cool. So shout out to Weary Blogs for organising that, because I think it went down really well. Another thing about going to the shows in the arena is on Wednesday night, semi-final 2, we were sat right by the green room. And that was really interesting because even though it's not like a live show, the delegations are still there on their little sofas in the green room, and the artists as well. So you get to see them, hanging out and watching the other performances. They did a little wave to us as well. So yeah, that was really interesting to be in different places in the arena on both nights. So I think I've summed up everything, mainly the atmosphere of Liverpool. Although something else I haven't mentioned actually is the opening concert on Sunday night, the first Sunday before Eurovision week, which I went to. And you've seen the videos of that in my vlog. There was Conchita Wurst, Shamala performing, Zara Larsson. There was a lot going on. And even that concert was spectacular. And that was the opening event. And that was what made you think, oh wow, like they really are going for it. Liverpool are really putting on a good show, like it's not even started yet, but they're really getting into this. And again, I don't know if host cities normally have an opening ceremony concert. I know that everyone has a red carpet event, but this was a concert after the red carpet event. I think it was shown on TV as well, on the BBC the day after. So it's a really big deal. And I don't know if cities usually do that at Eurovision. Maybe they do, but I just haven't seen it. But you know, this to have this televised event to kick off the whole event, you know, that was really spectacular in itself. They were lighting up St. George's Hall. They had all these drones and fireworks and special effects. So for that to be the first experience of the week was really impressive, because it made you think just how much of an effort they're putting into this whole thing. So yeah, that was a highlight as well, I would say. So yeah, those are my main personal highlights of my experience of the first time ever for me at Eurovision. I think Liverpool did a brilliant job of hosting and celebrating Ukraine as well, and just embracing the whole thing in general. I feared as well that more people in the UK watched the semi-finals than ever before. And I think more people watched the final as well, even more than normal. So it's definitely gained a lot more interest, maybe because it was in the UK, it made people more interested, but let's hope it stays that way as we go on as well. So yeah, Liverpool did a brilliant job, and I think it'll always be remembered as a really special place for me. I'd love to go back to Liverpool in general, you know, just to walk around and just remember what happened there. But I hear from other people who've been before for years and years that this was their favourite, you know, their favourite host city. So yeah, I think Liverpool should be proud of what they've done. I think they did a great job of hosting. I'm in the process right now of watching everything back, catching up on the semi-finals and the final. So I'm watching them back right now, bit by bit. And even the interval acts, which is so amazing this year. I loved the final opening with Kalush Orchestra. That was a really good performance, that opening with Kalush. Loved that. The Sam Ryder interval act. The songbook performance with Duncan Lawrence and Netta Mahmood. Love that. So yeah, the whole production and the whole thing was just amazing. The BBC did a great job, as expected, really, I think. So yeah, that is my summary, my roundup of my favourite moments of my week. If you were there, I'd love to know what you thought. How do you compare it to any other years that you've attended? And what were your personal highlights? If you weren't there, feel free to ask me any questions about anything you'd like to know about attending Eurovision. I've never been before, so I can't really compare it to anything else, but it was the best week of my life. No exaggeration, absolutely loved it, and I'm still recovering from it and looking forward to next year. I mean, will I go to Sweden? I'd love to. It's a shame it's being hosted again in a very expensive country because Liverpool was expensive enough, so Sweden will be even more expensive. But I would love to go to Sweden, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. I'd like to. So thank you for watching all of my 2023 videos. I did promise that my next video would be my updated top 10. So looking forward to sharing that with you. It has changed a little bit after the final, so I will share with you my updated top 10 after the final. And yeah, thank you to new subscribers as well. Thank you for joining me. Looking forward to starting all over again. Yeah, thank you for watching. See you very soon. Bye.